Hi, my name is Luke Holwager, and this is Lithuania. The picture I have here is of the Gediminas Castle located in Vilnius, Lithuania, the capital. Starting off, Lithuanians have a rich and important cultural heritage, which makes them who they are today. In 1795, the Russia's Tsar's Empire had invaded and dominated the Lithuanians until 1918, where they briefly gained their independence until then being controlled by Germany in World War II. And then they were incorporated into the USSR in 1944. During this time, the Russian people treated the Lithuanians horribly, trying to eradicate the country as a whole, banning their language, religion, anything that made Lithuanians Lithuanian, it was banned. To fight against this, the Lithuanians started the Lithuanian partisans, which were Lithuanians that would hide in the forest in bunkers and whatnot and fight against the Russians using guerrilla warfare. This lasted for about 10 years, where many partisans died fighting for their country. And this is a photo here of the partisans that had fought for Lithuania. Some of the things that the partisans did to keep Lithuania alive was the books. They would burn the books in Lithuanian, so the partisans would write books in Lithuanian and then smuggle them into the houses of the Lithuanian people to keep the language alive and the culture alive. Those who were caught were either executed, tortured, punished in some certain way. Many times the partisans' families, if they were able to be identified, would be taken and punished for the partisans' crimes against Russia. It was really just a terrible time for the people. Some things that kept joy for the people was scouting and basketball. Although scouting was banned during this time, many of the scouts were either deported to Siberia or joined the Lithuanian partisans to help fight the Russians. Basketball was another major part of the Lithuanian culture during this time, as the Lithuanians were pretty good at basketball and enjoyed playing it and watching it. Oftentimes, the Russian national team's core was Lithuanians. And then in on January 13th, 1991, the Russian soldiers had commands or orders to take control of the television tower in Vilnius, the capital, where the people weren't going to let this happen, as they all came to defend the tower, where soldiers ran over 13 unarmed civilians in the city, causing the nation to rise up and fight back against the Russians. The Lithuanian population is close to around 3 million, but give or take with some of the wars with World War I and World War II, it fluctuates up and down. Right now, it is currently at around 2.6 million people. Lithuania is one of three Baltic states. It is the southernmost and largest of the three, and it is surrounded by Poland, Belarus, Latvia, and Russia, which also makes up some of the ethnic heritage in the country. The language spoken in Lithuania is Lithuanian. It is said to be a hard language to speak and understand, as it is very old, up to 5,000 years old to be exact. And the reason why it's so difficult is because of all the accents and certain pronunciations of letters and words, and the grammar Lithuanians use can be complex for others to understand. The religion most practiced in Lithuania is Catholicism, but before this, they were pagans before they converted in the 14th century. So oftentimes you can see many pagan ways weaved into the Catholicism that they practice. Religion is a major part of Lithuania, as many family gatherings are centered around religious holidays such as Easter or Christmas. The country flag has three horizontal stripes, the top being yellow representing the sun, the green or the middle being green representing the forest, and the bottom being red representing the bloodshed spread for their independence. A country song that is famous in the country is a song called by Marione or Marionas. It's called Tris Milioni. Translated, it is 3 million. And the song is about the country's passion and power of the 3 million people that can't be broken. And it talks about what makes Lithuanians who they are. And here are some lyrics from the song translated. Some tourist spots include the television tower, which is the tower I was speaking about earlier that the Russians were trying to take control of. Gediminovpilis, which is the picture from the title page. This is the Hill of Crosses. It's a little hill that Lithuanians would go set crosses down and place their rosaries and send their prayers out to the Lord. This here is a memorial for the partisans that had fought during that war when the Russians were in control. And yeah, what is Lithuania known for? Now, Lithuania is known for having its medieval architecture, for its pretty good basketball team, as they always finish around the top 3 in the Olympics, and for their free Wi-Fi around the country anywhere you're at. Some of Lithuania's natural resources include forests, lakes, fish, agriculture, farming. It's a very resourceful country, and they have a lot of resources at their hand to use if needed. This is a major part of the country's business, imports, and exports. The business attire for Lithuania, men and women. For men, it is common to wear a dark suit and tie for business events. And for women, it is common to see a trouser suit and a skirt for formal business occasions. But if there is no formal occasion, it is common to see casual business wear. Body language and gestures. It is important to always make eye contact when speaking to an individual in Lithuania, as it shows respect and that you care about what you're talking about and that you care about the other person hearing about what you're talking about. It is not good to point in the country, but it is best to use both hands when speaking and to talk with the palms of your hands, as pointing could insult or offend someone. Greetings. It is common to see just a handshake if the two are not familiar with each other, but on occasions where you guys are more familiar with each other, it is common to see a little hug and maybe a kiss on the cheek when meeting with each other. Introductions. When people are first introduced to each other in Lithuania, they like to make eye contact, as I just said. They're always polite and respectful. They usually greet with a handshake, and they're always asking many questions so that they can get a good understanding of what you're talking about. Some conversational guidelines to follow in Lithuania is that Lithuanians aren't very fond of people who speak a lot, so it is good to get your ideas out quickly and well delivered so that you don't have to repeat yourself or speak multiple times, because they could get annoyed. And like I said before, it is very important to make sure you always have eye contact when speaking with another individual. It is also good to keep your hands visible when speaking with another individual, so that way they don't get scared, or I don't know. It's best to keep your hands visible. For meetings, before talking about business related material, Lithuanians like to build a personal relationship with their accomplice, and they're always polite and respectful when speaking with another individual. For food and dining, it is best to wait to sit down and to be told where to sit. When eating, you always keep your fork in your left hand and your knife in your right. When eating, make sure to always keep your hands visible. And make sure when you take your first portions, you take smaller portions, so that way if you're offered seconds, you can accept them and not offend anyone. And when finishing the meal, if there's one last item, make sure you ask everyone at the table around before taking that last item. If not, you could be seen as disrespectful or ignorant. When invited to a Lithuanian's house, it is common to see gifts brought. The most common are wine, flowers, and like sweets and candies. You shouldn't bring white flowers or chrysanthemums, because white flowers are only for weddings and chrysanthemums signify death. When bringing flowers too, it is always best to bring an odd number of flowers to a Lithuanian's home. In comparison to America, both Americans and Lithuanians value punctuality, respect personal space, and expect eye contact to be made when speaking. They both have very similar business attires, but Lithuanians will tend to be more formal than Americans can be when having a work day or experience. These are my references. And that is all. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.